almost falls down. Throws to the end zone. Owen! Owen! Owen!
It will change, and I'm not trying to tell you something. It's going to change. It's not like that, okay? But I want you to understand where I'm coming from. It will change, and it will change because they wanted to change, not because of me. It will change because they want to be champions.
Smith in the gun, the throw on his left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking, got it, post, and it's good! Touchdown, 49! Vernon Davis with the play of his life. It all comes to this fourth down. 4th and 4 at the San Francisco 10. Ryan in a shotgun. Rodgers to his left. 3 receivers right. Ryan takes the snap. Looking, pressure, throws middle. Broken up! Fight it! Navarro Bowman! And the 49ers silence the house.
Oh shit, gold-blooded listeners, you fucking fuckstick cunt heads. Here we are. I don't know that we're satisfied. We're definitely not satisfied. 3-point loss in Baltimore. We got our panties extremely wet. Baby, first and last football game. She's the bigger loser than the Niners, or maybe I'm the bigger loser. I don't know.
Soggy bottom and girl, boys.
Yeah, soggy fucking debacle, boys. Tim Ryan, wow. We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're going to get into the game. The only thing I have to say is if the NFL gave a fuck about, protecting African-American quarterbacks as it does when the 49ers play the Seahawks or Ravens, Colin Kaepernick. Fuck. 3 penalties, 45 yards. Bullshit. That's the game, in my opinion. Those 3 roughing the passer penalties is the game.
Yeah, one of them was pretty monumental. I will say that.
And one of them was extremely soft.
Yes, one of them was extremely soft.
2 looked soft, but one of them was erroneous.
Without question, one of them was very soft.
That's pretty good.
Erroneous? Yeah.
That's pretty good use.
Hey!
That's impressive.
All right, we got a lot to get to, so I'm just going to hammer through the news, injuries, and updates. Not much pausing here. George Kittle, DJ Jones, and Robbie Gould, they all played this week. Matt Breida, Dee Ford, and Joe Staley did not play this week. They all practiced today, and we should have all of them back versus the Saints. I believe Breida went to the last minute, and they made the decision to keep him on the bench for another week, so you have him fresh next week.
I think that was probably a weather-based decision.
Definitely weather-based decision. Matt Breida on the turf, hell yeah. Matt Breida on a wet field, not so much.
Hey, but that's all right with the way what's his name played.
Mostert.
Jesus Christ.
Dante Pettis did not play with the knee. I don't even know if he would play if he was completely healthy, but he might miss another game. Kwaski Tart ended up fracturing his ribs in this game, and he did not practice today, but he's day-to-day. I'm pretty certain that that's just a pain management thing. Hurts like a bitch. I don't want to undersell it. Richard Sherman, knee sprain. He was limited today. He's day-to-day. He's very adamant in his presser that he is definitely going to play against the Saints, but we will see. DJ Jones suffered an ankle sprain. He's limited today, but he's day-to-day. Julian Taylor, elbow ligament. He's expected to miss multiple games. We waived kicker Chase McLaughlin.
Thanks, bud.
He went 7 for 8 on field goals. Always going to remember that one miss. And 8 for 8 on point after attempts.
He's already been picked up.
No
by
shit.
Who? Indianapolis.
Seattle.
Yeah. So, well, they have Vinatieri.
They claimed him off waivers, so they have both. They waived someone else.
Okay. We released offensive lineman Will Holden from the practice squad. We signed wide receiver Chris Thompson to the practice squad. Don't know either of them. We signed defensive back Antoine Exum Jr.
Welcome back.
Yep. And we activated the practice window for Kentavious Street.
K-Street.
And it is possible that he or Kevin Givens. Who's Kevin Givens? Defensive lineman?
Yeah, practice squad.
Okay. Will be active this week.
Did you catch the video of K-Street and Nick, jacking up Nick Bosa in, a little one-on-one drill?
Yeah, I saw it. I'm not going to get...
You are hating on this guy. I can feel it.
He hasn't played a game.
Okay.
drafted him 2 years ago. I hated the pick at the time. I'm just going to add in my little news blurb. In the preseason, we waived our 5th-round tight end from Stanford, so he's very smart. Caden Smith, if you guys recall. Mm-hmm. I was very high on him. Do you know what he did last weekend for the New York Giants? He had
quarterback?
He had like seven catches for 70-plus yards. Rookie tight end, 5th-rounder.
Somebody's got to do it over there.
Yeah, still wish we had him. But anyway, moving on. Predictions. Nobody won the prediction game because everybody picked a win. So
I was close.
Yeah, me and you were both
yeah.
right in the territory there with our prediction scores. So Rob, Joe, and the fifth member of this podcast, Michael Curran, took a trip to Baltimore this weekend.
Baby was there as well.
Yeah, Baby was there. Okay.
I'd like to start this podcast the way we started the last field trip podcast.
Okay.
Steve, how did you watch the football game?
From the comfort of my own home.
Yeah?
Yeah, and you know what? It was a very decent atmosphere. I was watching the game, and my Christmas tree was being put up in the corner, too.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice scene.
Nice family day.
Real class.
Putting the tree up.
Cool.
Staying warm. It was snowing out. First snow of the year, I believe.
And you, Chris?
The same. I watched it at my house.
Comfortable?
Yeah.
Warm?
Yep.
So, we arrive in Baltimore.
Well, hold on, maybe you should back that up and just explain about the ride getting down there, because that really wasn't that fun either.
Yeah, we arrive in Baltimore after about a six and a half hour trip.
Which should only been 4 because holiday traffic, every cunt got on the road Saturday to avoid the weather.
The impending weather.
Sorry to interrupt.
That was coming on Sunday.
The rain that was coming on Sunday?
And snow, and people were traveling because of the holiday,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
most of the people on the highway had out-of-state plates. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of Massachusetts plates, a lot of
everywhere
southern state plates.
No matter what state we were in, it was
a lot of mix. And quite honestly, if I had to choose, we would have all chose the traffic on Saturday rather than Sunday, coming home late at night. So it actually worked out.
It actually worked out, but still, it still wasn't.
And it wasn't a bad ride. We were all in a pretty decent spirits. By the time we got there, we were over it, but
yeah, but
pretty good spirits.
We're hanging together as a foursome.
Yeah, some bonding.
Yeah, it was nice.
Mommy and daddy and 2 children in the back. One child being older than mommy and daddy.
And one that actually could be our child. So yeah, it was bizarrely it worked out.
Yeah, he definitely could be my child.
Yeah.
We arrived. It was pretty nice out. A little chilly.
A nice hotel. Got
Checked in. Went to have dinner. Got a good night's sleep. Went to bed pretty early.
Yep.
Got up to rain. And then it rained some more and rained some more and a little bit of rain.
A lot of rain.
There was a little bit of ice on things. It was that cold.
Yeah.
But not bad. Like a misty rain. Until we started walking to the game. Then it started a pouring, driving rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Driving is the best
Yeah.
way to describe that. Yeah.
Sideways rain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So we stopped under a bridge where we waited for
The 4 of us.
10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, we had an energy drink and some marijuana edibles, at least I did, underneath a bridge.
Rather than wait outside the stadium in the rain, we figured we'll stand under this bridge.
Where we're approached.
By a gentleman looking out for us, letting us know where all the...
Firemen.
Yeah, no, I don't think... He was letting us know where the tailgating was.
Right.
Where the safe areas to tailgate were.
Right.
And then right at the end, he said something that made us all realize he was definitely a cop. He said, what was the wording? He said, have fun, but not too much.
But not too much.
And as soon as he walked away, we're like, that was a cop.
Yeah, he was like, hey, you can come down and tailgate over here. It's a benefit
the fireman,
for the firemen.
yeah.
And all of us are like, we're going to stand under this fucking bridge in Baltimore. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Snitch.
Yeah, where's the 49ers tailgate? That's where we want to go.
Fuck out of here.
Then we walk to the gates. Again, 5 minutes early. We stand in the rain for some more. We get inside. About 11 o'clock.
Did you see the Ray Lewis statue?
No.
No?
You didn't see the Ray Lewis statue.
No.
Oh.
I think I was asking because I'm wondering if that's the only statue they have there.
Probably.
I didn't see any other statues, so.
We do some laps. We check the stadium
Imagine
out.
having the statue of a murderer outside your stadium.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Baby gets some drinks.
More than a couple.
The rest of us get some snacks. Some...
At the stadium?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
For what, $12 a cup?
Steve.
Oh, she pregame too.
Steve.
Okay.
Well, let me preface that by saying we're at a game, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't give a fuck if they cost $60 a drink.
Yeah, you made that decision when you bought the ticket.
Right. We knew.
Long before.
Right.
I mean, I bought a hot dog. I could have bought that before we got there.
Right.
I could have
So
filled up.
Whether
before.
those drinks are going to cost us $20 or $200 is part of the day. So I don't even
And
care.
that decision's made long before you
Right.
get to the stadium.
Okay.
I get
No
it.
doubt. Yeah. I would never sweat something like that. In that
No,
case,
and if
you know
I
what
and if I
Like-
did, I wouldn't have bought the tickets.
Agreed. There you go.
It is what it is.
Yep.
It's part of the deal.
Okay.
I was thinking though, if I was a stadium, I would charge different prices for what you were wearing.
Yeah.
Like if you got the home team stuff on, you get this price. Away team pays this. I wonder if that's legal.
I will say this, knowing what we know now, after going to Washington and Baltimore in the rain, I am convinced that you can get anything, bomb, gun, or anything else into
long as it
an
doesn't have
NFL
metal.
stadium if it's raining. No, because you know how many people I saw with fucking light up jackets on, heated jackets? They told me I can't bring mine, but every cocksucker I saw had them. Like I saw at least a dozen. So, okay, regardless.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm going to say you could definitely get alcohol in.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not going to go
too.
bombs and guns, but I'll go alcohol.
Agreed.
It's getting close to kickoff. We decided to go to our seats. As we're climbing the stairs to our seats, I realized this is much higher up than I expected.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
We were.
I don't even think Washington goes as high as we were.
Yeah.
Like, it was up there.
We
like, as
were-
we're... I mean, I was out of breath.
Right,
climbing
correct.
these stairs. And I'm like, this is up
There
here.
were, I would say, 15 rows behind us. That's it.
Yeah. Max.
We were sitting, actually, here's a better way to say it. We were sitting directly under the lights. There was a mount for the big stadium lights that were directly above our head.
Which
So-
leads me to the point that while it's raining, mostly lightly, sometimes harder, we are directly under a light stand.
So it's always
So
raining.
where everyone else in the stadium is getting these fine, misty raindrops, we're getting gigantic globs of water that are beating up on this fucking light fixture and then falling directly on top of us.
Yep.
Which was awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
Our seats were on the same...
Leaked on here, you're getting leaked on it.
Yeah, everything about it. We were comfortable with water dripping from the ceiling, Chris, if that's what you're implying. So we didn't. Our seats were not together; they were in the same row but separate. Curran and I get to our seats, and there's a gigantic Ravens fan, not just a fat guy, like a big dude,
Yes.
standing in front of our seats.
Hand tattoos.
And I'm like, "We're seats, 9 and 10," and he's like, "Yeah," but proceeds to not move.
Same thing with my fucking guy.
So I just look at Kurt. I'm like, I guess we'll just stand here until the game starts. Like, can I get my seat, dude? It's pouring. Fucking nightmare. So we finally sit down. Game starts. It rains extremely hard during our first drive.
Yeah.
Then it lets up
For 5
during
minutes.
their first drive. And then it rains extremely hard during our first drive. And I look at the Ravens fan next to me.
You
who's
mean
a
second?
Season ticket holder. Yes. I look at the season ticket holder next to me and go, you guys have control of the weather? Like, what the fuck is going on? And he thought that was great. He was a nice guy.
Can I say something about the guy that I sat next to? So, did you notice how the Ravens introduced every player on their defense? Did you notice that? So I turned to him and I said, hey, do they do that every game? Because that's kind of odd. I've been to other NFL games. I've never seen this. He said, last week they do the offense. This week they do and then maybe next week they'll do the offense. I said, well, that's fucking weird still, but okay. So now, a couple minutes later, he was trying to get his poncho on and he was struggling. So I was like, hey, let me help you. And I gave him one of these. I pulled his poncho down and got him straightened out. Not a thank you, nothing out of the fucking guy. And then the whole time it was like this. Him on me. Just sitting on top of it. Like, get the fuck in your own seat, you fucking prick. Sorry, you can continue.
So, at some point during the second quarter, I believe, no, it's raining. It's hard. It's wet. We're bundled up. I got a giant guy next to me. I can't see past him. Joe and Baby are down that way. I'm just bundled up watching the game. At some point in the first quarter, something good. I think when we scored our first touchdown,
Yes.
Joe let us know. He was celebrating. We could hear him. We were celebrating together from a distance.
Yes.
At some point during the second quarter, I lean forward and look to my left and look at Curran. I go, where'd they go?
It was about 4 or 5 minutes left in the quarter. We took
In the third.
in
the second.
In the second.
So I go, maybe they had to go to the bathroom. Maybe they need a drink, get some food. No big deal. We keep looking. They're not back. They're not back. Now, we're up a lot of stairs, so it takes time to go anywhere. I mean, it's going to take
10
a
minutes.
half a quarter to
Yeah.
go down, take a piss, get a drink or food, and
doubt.
come back.
Yep.
It's going to take a half a quarter.
For sure.
We keep looking. Nothing. Halftime comes. I don't like to leave my seat at halftime because everything is a zoo. But it's raining so hard. I got to get a new poncho on, take a piss. Now's the time. So I text Joe. I say, "Where are you guys? Can you see the game from there?" And he writes back, "Yeah, just simply yes." My spidey sense goes up. I go, something's not right with that reply. I asked 2 questions. I got 1 answer. Something's going on here. Let me dig a little deeper. Now, at this point, I say to Curran, I go, this is the beauty of me. I'm going to risk a friendship for the podcast. I'm going to try to make entertaining podcast by being a bad friend. I'm going to try and catch Joe in something so that I can bring it up on the air. And he's just like, whew. And I go, yeah, it is what it is. When you sign up to be an entertainer, you're gonna risk some friendships, you know. And we certainly would all be better friends if we didn't come here and fight about if Shanahan's the man or not. You know, that's what you sign up for. So I say, yes, you can see the game. Where are you? And he says, we're at section 107, and we can see a giant screen. And I look at Kern and I go, that's where I stop, because I want to be able to confront Joe for watching the game on TV. I think I got him. You know, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is going to make good. I'm going to let Steve bust him on it. It's going to be so great. I told Kern I'll even feed Steve all the info and let him, you know, let him turn it around and pull. I go, the 2 of them, it'll be great. But then Joe explained the situation, so it wasn't as good as I was hoping for on air. But I did take a picture that I saved. I didn't show Joe this. In about the 4th quarter, about halfway through the 4th quarter, of the fan that's sitting at the game in the weather watching in front of me.
Ah!
She's about 4 years old. She had no problem braving the elements to watch the game, Steve. 4 years old. She wasn't even upset. I was like, when they brought her, they weren't sitting there the whole game. They were like moving around. When they brought her, I pulled out a poncho, like, give the kid a poncho. They're like, no, she's good. And she was smiling. She was celebrating good stuff. I was impressed. Yeah. My kids would not have. No way.
I wish, first of all,
No way.
before I rebut or whatever, I have nothing to say anyway, but
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I was
Yeah.
hoping because he kind of explained the situation.
at the end of the day, my fucking old lady got hammered. I could have fucking forced her to sit in the rain, and in fact, she was trying to get me to go back up and sit in the rain, but what she didn't comprehend, that we would have missed more time walking up the stairs, and at that juncture, I made a call to do what was right for the team. The team being the 4 of us.
I mean, it's possible that the 49ers just needed that little extra noise.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When they were on defense to stop Lamar Jackson on 4th down. I mean, that little bit might have really put us over. I mean, I lost my voice. I'm just getting it back today from the noise I was making.
For whatever it's worth, I did. I went out to field level.
Yeah, that's why he did go out during parts of the game
To field
on field
level.
So that's what I mean when
Yeah.
I say he kind of explained the situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't as
I had to make a decision. I had to do what was best for all parties involved. My wife, us as a group. and-
it wasn't as good as I was hoping.
Yeah, no,
At the
so-
moment, I was already writing the jokes
I
in
know.
my head. Like, I was like, oh, the hotel had a TV. You could
Right.
have just watched it there.
Yeah.
Like, I had it all. I was ready to go.
But
And then
for
when he
whatever it's
explained
worth,
it, I was like, it's
And
not
then
gonna
I
be as
did
good.
end up watching the game with Niner fans from New Britain, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, of all places.
And even then, I go, that's cool. You guys all drove from Connecticut to watch on
Watch
TV
TV.
together.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So, again, I'm not upset by it.
What was the fan ratio, would you say?
60-40.
No shit. Really?
I don't think so. I think
70-30?
it felt more in the beginning because when you were walking around pregame, it was a lot. It was almost half, I would say.
No way.
Yeah, pregame.
Oh, yeah. Pregame, for sure.
But I think the Ravens fans probably live closer. They know what to expect, like what time to get there to just go to their. They're not trying to walk around. You know,
Right.
we're all walking around like
Right.
this is
The
the
other
thing.
deceiving factor is stadium employees were wearing 49er red jackets. All of them.
Yeah.
Yes. When we went to San Francisco back in 2013, there were the stadium workers that worked there. They were walking around with Seattle Seahawks jerseys, and what they do is they try to entice fans to act out against them.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
No,
This is
they
just
were
like
just wearing the color red. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Their jackets are
their
red.
security jackets are Ravens logos and red jackets.
Right.
49er red,
Like
though, is
bright
what I'm
red.
saying. So if you see it from the TV, it might look like more Niner fans than are there, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
You know?
But like noise wise, like you could hear a few defense chants when we were on defense.
It wasn't like
but it was
Washington.
way
Yeah.
much louder.
Yeah,
than the
I
Ravens
would say
were.
70-30 is probably a more
Probably.
accurate
There was a lot.
representation. Yeah, there was a lot. For sure.
All right.
With that said, before I think Rob and I will both agree. We've watched a fair amount of football together. Seeing Lamar Jackson he's the real deal. My opinion on it. I think obviously this only is second year. I think he takes a couple more games like he had against the Niners, and it's going to change him kind of like it did Cam Newton. I think he's going to start to get. He's going to feel the wrath. He's a couple games away from an injury. He's going to get hit.
I mean, I could totally see injury, but I could also see this league figuring out that offense because it's really I don't understand why this offense is so different.
Let's slow down. That offense scored 13 points.
Yes.
If you take away Jimmy Garoppolo's fumble in the red zone.
Even if you don't take it away, 17 or 20.
Yeah, but if you we gave them the ball in the red zone.
Of course.
So you take that out of it, they scored 13 points in our defense. I don't think there's anything to figure out. I think we figured it out.
Yeah. I would agree.
I think we beat them any other day.
On a dry field.
If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't fumble, Robbie Gould makes a field goal.
Yep.
I'm not sweating it at all.
Yeah, Nope, totally.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we said it before the game. Hey, if there's one game the boys can afford to lose, it's going to be this one. Out of conference, the whole thing. You know what I mean? On top of that, you had the field conditions. You had a missed field goal from the Niners, and then you had just as
It was
far,
blocked.
What?
It was blocked.
Okay, a blocked field goal.
Yeah, I got a finger on it.
And then whatever you want to say about the fucking roughing the passer penalties, I find that to be a bit fucked up.
I mean,
Whatever.
it's cliche, but it
Yeah,
is
I
a game
know.
of inches, and
45 yards.
when you're two teams, that they're clearly the 1 and 2 teams in the league.
I would
And if
agree.
they played 100 games, it's probably 50-50. And it's going to be those one little thing
Yeah.
that makes that 50-50.
And the other thing to consider is you look at all the top teams in the league. What are there? 4 teams or 5 teams that are 10-2 now?
I'm not sure how many
Okay.
exactly.
So you got a bunch of teams 10-2. I saw this chart the other day. If you look at the combined score of their losses, the Niners lost 2 games by 6 points. All the other teams is 20 or more points.
Yes.
So,
and both losses are at the horn field goals.
right, yeah,
Like,
at
at-
the horn.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm not.
Okay, so
The league is going to know next Sunday who the 49ers are.
I agree.
Yes.
I told someone else that. The same exact words. I said everyone is going to know exactly who the 49ers are this week.
And we said that about Green Bay, and then everyone was like, well, maybe Green Bay's not that good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we have made a habit out of making teams look not that good.
I'm cool with that.
All right, offense off the top. We had 331 total yards, 157 passing, 174 rushing. We went 4 of 12 on third down, 1 for 2 on fourth down, 0 for 1 in the red zone, and we allowed 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, and 3 tackles for a loss, and we committed 1 turnover.
What was the turnover? A fumble?
Jimmy's fumble.
Jimmy's
so-
fumble.
That was ugly.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was that ugly.
He wasn't
I-
protecting it.
He was holding it how you should hold it, and he was being taken down by a defender in his face, holding the ball how you would hold a football, and another defender came from behind him and punched it out. He didn't even see it coming.
I guess my issue with it was how long he had before that.
Yeah.
He was back there in that pocket a long time.
Yes, he was.
Like, that clock's got to be going, okay, and then at that point, as soon as you're under that much pressure that late in the play, get on the ground.
Yes.
And field position.
There's no shame in just getting down.
Just, get down.
because you're not going to fumble.
Not gonna get hurt.
And you're not going to get hurt.
I mean, if we're past the 50 and you want to try and extend the play longer, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But when you're backed up like that, come on, let's get out of here with a punt.
So that was a little later on, but the opening drive, there was an early 3rd and 7, and Jimmy throws a very low ball to Kendrick Bourne, who's able to reach down and make the catch.
Great
and a
catch.
nice run afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I was really excited.
Able to
about
convert
that one,
into a 29-yard play. I mean,
Yeah.
just not a good throw at all. Receivers, that's a common theme in this game. Receivers, they have hurt Jimmy in some games. They really helped him out in this one.
And that play redeems Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
We're even. He's not on the plus yet,
Right.
but we're even.
Yeah, we're even.
I mean, on a 3rd and 7 in the rain to pick that ball up out of the grass.
I know what I just said. Receivers helped them out. Not on this one. 2 plays later, 2nd and 2, Jimmy throws a wobbly but accurate pass over the middle intended for Debo, who can't make the catch. And then he completely redeems himself.
Oh,
Yeah.
did he ever?
After failing to convert 3rd down, Shanahan makes the call to go for it on 4th and 2.
So sketchy.
At the 32-yard line, Jimmy throws a deep shot
Not
to
the best pass.
a well-covered Debo Samuel.
Double covered.
Very well covered Debo Samuel. And he just straight up little boys Marcus Peters at the catch point to make the catch.
2 things. Remember that. Remember this when we get later in the game, that was 4th and 2, and our play call was to throw a deep ball into double coverage. Just remember that.
I
Just remember that. I'm going to bring that up in a little while.
The result was good. That's sketchy.
Don't care. You can't be happy about that and then bitch about the 4th and 1 call.
No,
Whoever's going to bitch about that 4th and 1 call can go suck Debo's dick. Period.
Well, I mean, there's certain things that you could pick apart about that, but
If you want to, then that's cool. Then go suck Debo's dick. Period. I don't care. I don't want to hear it because you can't have both. That's an aggressive play caller calling a touchdown, a deep shot into double coverage, making the throw and getting a touchdown. You can't. It's not going to win every time. It's not going to work every time.
I like the aggressiveness mindset. I like the call. If I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm not sure I fucking throw that pass.
The Debo pass?
Again.
Yeah.
Agreed, but whatever.
Again, he did, and it's a touchdown.
And it worked.
That's you got to you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
But I mean, let's just focus on the positive here. Debo fucking Samuel.
Yeah?
Like,
have you seen George Kittle's mic'd up?
no.
He goes
From this week?
Yeah, he goes, he caught that?
Yeah.
I mean, just, yeah, absolutely absurd.
The tone in his voice is phenomenal. He goes, he caught that?
Yeah, I mean, Debo is just, he's the man.
He's maturing.
Then they go to the sideline. He goes, Debo, you're really good, man.
He's number one. He is maturing into a number one is my take on it. So
Yeah, I love Debo. So on the second drive, we got a 3rd and 6, and Jimmy gets the ball punched out from behind, and the ball's on the ground. Mike Person, for some reason, appears as if he's trying to pick it up and advance it instead of just falling on it.
Oh, I couldn't see that from where I was. It's up there. It was on our end, but it was a little tough for me to see
It looked to me like he could have just fell on it.
Flopped on it.
But instead, he tries to pick it up and advance it.
He thought he was going to take it to the house.
Yeah, I mean...
You can't anyways, right? You can't advance on a fumble. They'll call it back to where you fumbled.
Really?
Yeah,
that's true.
It's to prevent you from, like, when you're going down, like, rolling it across the ground.
Right.
Yeah, you can't
I
advance
didn't even
anyway.
think about that.
Yeah, totally useless.
Anyway, it's hard for... watching that play again, it's hard for me to put that... I know Jimmy has struggled with ball security issues this year. He struggled with turnovers. It's hard for me to pin this one on him specifically. Yeah, you need to get down, but the defender coming from behind him, he couldn't even see. Just nice punch on the ball. So... we run end around to Debo Samuel that goes for 20 yards, and it just confirms everything that we've been saying all year is that Debo Samuel with the ball in his hands, he's not a wide receiver, he's a running back. That needs to happen more often. Bubble screens, end arounds, get that guy the ball in space. He can make people miss, and he'll run you over.
Just like George.
Yep. So,
it's very clear after this week who our 1, 2, 3 are. I think probably Sanders and Samuel are interchangeable depending on the play.
Yeah.
And then Kendrick's our number 3.
I think that there's more Emmanuel Sanders there. I definitely
He's
think...
injured.
Yeah, he's going through an injury, but what I saw in that first first Cardinal game, I'm like, oh boy.
And also, as we've talked with many teams, if there is a guy that's better, that guy's going to get covered more.
Yes.
So if the safety's helping there, then Debo. But it's clear to me after this game who Shanahan sees as our 3.
And it's here's something else that I will say about it. I would feel real good next year, right? If we went into it with Kittle, Debo, Emmanuel, or not, because we'd have to re-sign him, right?
Yes.
Kendrick, get Jalen Hurd up to snuff, and then if they add just instead of putting
Trent Taylor.
Right, Trent Taylor.
Trent
and then
Taylor.
instead of putting 2 or 3 draft picks into wide receiver, you may only have to go with 1 next year, or a free agency. I think we're finally getting to a point where we could all agree we're satisfied with the receiving core.
As a whole.
With the ball count.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to keep picking defensive linemen because we can't afford to pay.
Right.
That'd be my guess.
Yeah, just keep that,
You're gonna have to.
rotation going.
Yeah, because you can't pay them all.
So after the Debo Samuel end around that goes for 20 yards, there's a 3rd and 3, and with defenders at his feet and being forced to move back into the pocket, Jimmy, with the poise, is able to find Sanders over the middle for a conversion. That was a big-time throw. And then
beautiful.
the very next play was the 40-yard touchdown run by Raheem Mostert, which was a thing of beauty as far as blocking goes from McGlinchey and Kittle to get him into that space. I mean, that is everything that you want in that play.
I'm not a analyst as much as I pretend to be, but every person you hear this week, all they have to say is how Kittle put on a clinic
He did.
of blocking.
An absolute clinic. And McGlinchey.
Yeah.
McGlinchey was a little sketchy for a little while there after he came back from his injury.
I saw numbers that showed that Kittle and McGlinchey both allowed 0 pressures.
Wow.
Yeah, and even Brunskill, he only allowed 1.
Yes, he's playing great. And, I mean, that bodes well for the future. And I mean, we re-signed Joe Staley recently to a 3-year deal. We're not just going to get rid of him. That wouldn't be, even if it would be the theoretical move, it's not
going to happen.
That's not how you run an organization with a guy that has put it all on the line for you for so many years. It's just, that would not be a good move. So, approaching halftime, the Niners get the ball with 1:58 remaining in the first half. And the first play is a 19-yard run by Raheem Mostert. So, 1:58. We get a 19-yard run by Raheem Mostert. Pretty good first play. Our next snap isn't until 1:20 remaining. I mean, to all the people that didn't like Shanahan's approach in the Seattle game, is we should have played for the tie, like, this is your proof right there. We did not get down the field far enough because we milked too much clock.
So it seems like there's some clock management issues? Is that what you're...
At the time, when there was 1:20 left, how many timeouts did we have?
So, I don't know how many... We had all 3.
Yeah,
We
so
had
that's
all
an
3
eternity.
timeouts.
That's why you run the clock. If we only had 1 or 2, we would not have run the clock that far down.
Listen to this next play. On a 1st and 20, Emmanuel, we had a penalty on the next play. So 1st and 20, Emmanuel Sanders gains 8 yards with 1:20 remaining. Our next snap wasn't, or no, maybe it was less than that, but our next snap wasn't until there was 35 seconds left on the clock. That's the bad one. That's the one where you got to start going, because we didn't use a single timeout. I didn't like that. So halfway through the third quarter, Niners driving the ball with big runs by Mostert. We end up getting to a 3rd and 6, and at the 34-yard line, Raheem Mostert blows a pass block assignment, but Jimmy is able to flip the ball over the defender that he missed blocking to Raheem Mostert, and he's able to pick up 5 yards on the play. Great heads-up play by Jimmy. Bad missed block assignment by Mostert, but the fact that he was able to get the ball and get 5 yards made up for it. So we're at 4th and 1. We elect to go for it, and we get the deep pass to Emmanuel Sanders that draws a pass interference flag.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Good thing about that, eh?
Unfortunately, that drive stalled out. We had to settle for a field goal anyway. We were able to tie it 17-17, which is what you got to do in that situation.
Yes. I think the going for it on 4th downs is a couple things. A, it's weather-related.
Yep.
Why would you... What theory is that?
Because
Kicking is harder.
Oh, of course, duh.
Also, I think it's
Field
Robbie
position?
Gold related. It's his first game back.
Yeah.
I think that most importantly, though, it's Lamar Jackson related, because that team goes for it on 4th down more than any other team in the league. And if you're going to run with the big dog, you're going to have to keep up.
Yep.
And taking field goals when they're taking 7 isn't going to cut it.
Agreed. So later in the game, I forget what, I think it was beginning of the 4th quarter, we're backed up at our own 7-yard line, and on a 3rd and 4, Jimmy throws an absolute dart to Emmanuel Sanders on a slant to convert the first down. By far his best throw of the day. Better than the throw to Debo, because that throw to Debo was sketchy as fuck.
Yeah.
That 3rd and 4 dart to Emmanuel Sanders to convert that right there is Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, that is Jimmy Garoppolo, that throw right there.
And the confidence of him.
He threw it through a sea of 4 defenders.
But the confidence that Sanders is going to catch it in that weather.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah, receivers definitely picked up their game in this one in the wet weather. There was the one drop by Deebo Samuels, but besides that, nothing. So same drive later on that, after he throws the pass to Sanders to convert the 3rd down backed up in our own territory, we get a delay of game on a 2nd and 13. Zero excuse for that.
Yeah.
Nothing happened the play prior that we couldn't get that ball off. Brutal. And then on a 3rd and 10, Jimmy throws an absolute duck into the dirt. It was so ugly, I needed to triple check to make sure it didn't get tipped at the line. And it didn't. It was just a duck.
Just ugly.
I think it was extremely clear in this game that the wet weather or the weather in general affected Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball.
It affected both teams and even their play calling because both teams didn't throw. What was their 275 passing yards in this game?
Totally with you. What I'm saying is that this rain favored Baltimore so much.
Yes.
And yet they still only won by 3 points.
I hear you, Papa.
You play that game on a dry field. I mean, I have complete confidence that the D-line can get better angles on Lamar, not slide. And I have complete confidence that Shanahan Jimmy draw up some pass plays to start moving the ball down the field, and we score a hell of a lot more than just 3 points in the second half.
I mean, Humphrey doesn't get a finger on that field
goal. We're in a different place.
It's not even the same game, so.
Yeah, and I looked at that. I tried looking for the finger on the ball on the blocked field goal. I'm like, they say it was blocked, but it's hard to tell because there's not really a good view of it. But looking at the kick itself, it looked like it was a strong kick, and without the fingertip, it would have maybe gone in. You know?
Yeah, I mean, who knows either way.
But anyway, so we got 6 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the game. It's 4th and 1. This is the play everyone's talking about at the 39-yard line. We like to go for it because it's way too far of a field goal. Jimmy lines up in shotgun, and the ball gets tipped at the line. My only issue with that, I have zero problem calling a pass play. My only issue is that you've been running the ball down their throats all day. Why would you not at least line up Jimmy under center instead of in a shotgun? Run up. You don't even have to run play action because you probably won't have time for that because they're probably blitzing. But at the very least, get under center to hike that ball.
Yeah.
Don't line up in a shotgun.
That's fair. But also, if it's not batted down.
Yes. I tried looking at that too, like, was he open? That was a little sketchy.
From what I heard, it was a very clear holding, though, if the ball goes through and doesn't get tipped.
Yeah, maybe.
Or PI.
But who the fuck knows with those refs?
The NFL, I think, has a serious problem with the referee.
Yes.
I mean, what are they going to do? They just don't give a fuck about quality of product because they make money hand over fist.
I will say, like...
I think the problem with the refereeing situation is money. I think it straight comes down to money. I think the NFL's being cheap. They're not making them full-time. And they're also being so cheap that the good ones are leaving to do TV.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 5 former heads and head referees that are doing TV instead of reffing?
You know how the coaches, the players, or whatever, they'll meet with the broadcast team the night before the game to feed them the nuggets and, update them on the team? Do the teams meet with the refereeing crew? The coaches meet with the refereeing crew that's going to be officiating their game the next day? Because if they don't, they 100% should.
I feel like I've heard that they do.
To discuss
maybe it's only
any
certain
concerns
games
they might have.
Yeah, I feel like I've.
If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I'm telling them, look, we're hitting Lamar Jackson if we think he has the ball. And are you going to call that or are you not going to call that?
They definitely meet with the refs before.
Do they?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely. There's definitely something.
Well, I think that the problem is that all the roughing the quarterbacks were on pass plays, not RPOs.
Yeah. Well, we never really hit him on an RPO.
I know, that's what I don't understand.
So, onto the defense.
Was there anything else with the offense? I mean,
that was all I had.
Wrapped it up. Yeah, I mean, hats off to Mozart. There was a couple.
Yeah, I didn't mention Mostert.
There was a couple plays that at one point they went to Coleman, I want to say, in like the 3rd or the 4th, and he got stuffed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you doing? Just keep feeding the fucking answer right now, But other than that, I understand everybody needs a break. That was just something I noticed at one juncture. But other than that, I mean, again. They came out on the wrong side of this game, but they played the game nearly as well as they could have considering the situation.
Especially the offensive line.
Yes.
They killed it.
Yeah, they did really well. Okay. Yeah, I guess you go to the defense.
All right, off the top, we allowed 283 total yards, 105 passing, 178 rushing. We allowed 3 for 10 on 3rd down, 2 for 3 on 4th down, 1 for 2 in the red zone, and we only had 1 sack, 2 quarterback hits, and 2 tackles for a loss the whole game. By far our lowest point in those 3 categories for the year, and we forced 1 turnover.
Lamar Jackson's first fumble.
The defense held the Ravens to their lowest point total all year.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I did.
Okay.
They were averaging, 34 points a game, and we held them to 20?
20.
I mean, I know we lost this game, but this game really confirmed to me that I'm not even going to say these are the best two teams in the NFL. The 49ers are the best team in the NFL.
I would concur.
I'm not saying it's by a lot, but I am saying they are 100% the best team in the NFL.
Agree.
So, starting off with the defense here, I mean, coming out of that game, I really thought that we were making some huge mistakes in the first half, biting on play action fakes on the pass read option and going after the ball carrier as opposed to keeping an eye on Lamar Jackson if he chooses to keep it. Early on, though, upon a second watch, I'm noticing the defenders really stalling out in their rushes, and they're watching and waiting for Lamar Jackson, and he hands it off, and that guy goes for 8 yards, that guy goes for 12 yards, he goes for 14 yards. Eventually, you got to say, this isn't working. We have to tackle the guy that he's giving the ball to.
The defensive line did not play their best game, and I think a lot of it had to do with the
opponent.
Yeah, agreed. I
How
think
you approach him.
I think Lamar Jackson put the Niner defensive line in a bad spot, and I think they're skilled enough to keep him in check as they did. And I could take it a step further. I think if that, you put that on a neutral field or even a dry field, I think the Niners could do real damage. I think that defense could fuck him up. But with that said, they gotta play freer because they were biting too hard on fakes as the fucking juke play. The whole stadium nearly came at the fucking same time. It was so gross. Fucking nerds. Yeah, fuck them.
I agree. On a dry field, this defense would contain Lamar. I felt like they contained him pretty well overall. We weren't giving up any fucking 30-yard runs to this guy.
No, but to give up 11 and 12
I know.
is very, very...
but put that on a dry field, we're giving up 5 yards. We're giving up 6 yards. We're giving up -2. You know what I mean?
I hear you, Papa.
So, I don't know if this was still the first drive, but Fred Warner, he's able to stay stride for stride with Hollywood Brown, one of the fastest receivers in the league, and he's able to register a huge pass breakup on a second down, and that was the play that kind of set the tone where they had to punt on their first. It was their first because they punted. We forced them to punt on their first possession after scoring 7. Could you dream up a better start than that?
No kidding.
Ugh.
Yes, I could. We don't fumble on the next drive.
Exactly. Unfortunately, the defense has to go back out there and defend the field in the red zone pretty much immediately after Jimmy's fumble. And on the second play, the Ravens run a common cover 3 beater route with Mark Andrews. He finds a soft spot in the zone, and it's a pretty easy touchdown for those guys. They just drops it in the bucket. Mark Andrews, easy touchdown. Whatever. Moving on. Julian Taylor gets flagged for a neutral zone infraction, even though he never broke through the neutral zone.
Yeah, he didn't touch anybody?
He didn't touch nobody.
Because that's usually the call, is if you make contact.
Nope. Didn't even break the neutral zone with his helmet.
I noticed
the
that.
furthest part of his body.
Yeah, the fix was in.
He fucking flinched. Defensive players are allowed to move as long as they don't cross. That was a bullshit call. Anyway, and then this was the probably the bigger roughing the passer penalty call.
The one out of bounds?
No. This was Azeez Al-Shahir committed a roughing the passer penalty on a 3rd and 10 where they threw an incomplete pass. It would have been 4th down, and they would have been forced to try a 44-yard field goal, which is no gimme in that weather.
Nope.
They end up scoring a touchdown on that drive instead.
Can't give that offense a second chance.
One thing I will tell you, side note, I saw more Ravens fans wearing their kicker's jersey. Did you notice how many?
No.
I saw, I'd say at least half a dozen.
I mean, the guy's been there for, 10 years now?
This is a rare thing to see, a lot of kicker jerseys.
Around the league, he's considered the best.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the best in numbers every single year, but there's a lot of guys that have a great year and then they drop down to 13, and then Tucker's always right there.
Around the league, amongst coaches, he's considered the best.
I would say that too. So we're approaching the end of the first half, and the 49ers get another roughing the passer call. This one was on Sheldon Day, and this was the weak call. The weakest.
He fell into him, right?
He was already in midair when Lamar Jackson threw the ball.
Bullshit.
Egregious. No, what was it? Erroneous.
So, we're approaching the end of the third quarter here, and then this was where the officials originally throw a flag on Jimmy Ward on a late hit on Lamar while he was running out of bounds, and then ultimately they pick the flag up, and John Harbaugh cries on the sideline.
I'm sure when he watched that replay, he felt stupid
Yes.
because it was very clear that Jimmy tried to pull up even.
I just find it ironic that the guy that hit Kaepernick all game in 2013, or technically 2013, is...
I mean, live action, it looked worse. On replay, it was very clear that he tried to
was
pull
still in
up,
bounds.
and he hit him in bounds first. But once they crossed the line, Jimmy even pulled his hands back and tried to pull up. It was just too late.
This is another one that everybody's still talking about. 3rd and 11, Jimmy Ward makes an absolute monster play in the secondary, attacking the ball intended for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews getting up, looking for a flag because Jimmy Ward kind of leaped over his back to try and get the ball. Mark Andrews getting up, looking for a flag. The whole stadium is looking for a flag. No flag. It was a great, as shitty as the refs were with some of these calls in this game, that was a great no call by them. And then John Harbaugh challenged the pass interference, and it was still upheld that it was a no call.
Yeah,
And
that was a great defense, right? Yeah, we had a big talk about that after the game. But
just a really great play by Ward. And I will say this. Had he intercepted that ball, nobody would be talking about that as pass interference. End of story.
So here's the thing. I thought when I saw the play and when I saw the replays that it was clear he was going for the ball. And it still is to me. However, there is a clause in pass interference where you both have rights to the ball as long as you're going to the ball. But there's a catch in there with the defender going through the back of the offender. So that's what they were looking at. Because he's kind of behind him, but he's over top of him. If you if the tight end is in front of you as a defensive player, you can't knock him down running toward but you're going for the ball.
Yeah.
There's a catch there where you can't get in behind them and hit the back of them.
I'm not saying that there was no contact whatsoever, but there was not enough contact to warrant a flag, in my opinion.
I didn't know that clause was there. It was clear to me that Jimmy was just going for the ball.
Well, Sherman had one of those a few weeks ago, I think, in our second Arizona game, where he played through the back of the defender and he got called for a pass interference. That was, you can clearly see he hit him before the ball got there. There was a lot of contact. Not this time. I mean, he grazed his shoulder on the way up to the ball.
I think it was a great call either way.
So,
Agreed. The refs
God, if
actually
he'd have
got
come
one
down with
right.
that ball, though.
I know, right?
What a play.
Because the other thing about the play was the receiver wasn't this fucking Amber Alert. The receiver wasn't even engaged. He wasn't even looking for the ball. I don't even know that the receiver knew that ball was thrown.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
In my mind, I go, there's an argument to be made that pass was uncatchable.
Hey, he wasn't trying to catch it. Whatever the fuck do I know?
And then, well, this happened before. I'm out of order here, but the play of the game by Marcel Harris to strip the ball.
Great ball. Great play, rather.
He's only in there because of Tartt's injury.
Yes. And if you remember, I think I was personally a fan of Marcel Harris, what he put on tape last year. I was very concerned that we waived him in training camp, and we ultimately ended up getting him back on the practice squad. He went unclaimed, which surprised me. But, I mean, this guy's a player. Every single time he's out there, he's making plays.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a play. And the fact that he was able to strip it with one hand and then kind of get it into his body just made it. That's a baller play.
I was more concerned that his tattoo career was going to take off
Ah!
before we had a chance to
He
sign
would
him.
never play again. Yeah.
I mean, you want Tart out there. Tart's obviously the more experienced player, the better player, the veteran. But out of all the injuries that we've had this year, this is the one that I'm initially least concerned about, whether Tart can go next week or not. So,
Yeah. Agree.
I mean,
So
every single guy that we've asked to come in didn't shit their pants. They were all ready for it.
look at Greenlaw.
Greenlaw. I mean,
Solid.
E-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody just comes in.
Especially the secondary. It seems like all the secondary replacements have really stepped up. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sure the audience loves to listen to it, but
Yeah, no, I hear you.
so the Patriots defense,
Yeah.
the special Patriots defense, the best in the league.
Yes.
The most incredible defense anyone's ever seen in the entire history of the NFL.
Yeah, they're done, huh?
So the Passing defense in the NFL, Patriots have allowed 163.5 yards per game. Care to venture what the 49ers have allowed?
I got it. I bet 129.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
134.2.
Oh, then.
That's
oh.
the average passing
Yes.
yardage that they've allowed
Yep.
per game
Yep.
this year.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nearly 30 yards less than the Patriots.
That is absolutely absurd.
Do you know what the record is for all time? Because they're.
No.
That's got to be close.
Yeah.
So,
And this is in the passing era. This is in
I
the
know.
fucking 80s. Wow.
So total defense, yards allowed, that spectacular best ever Patriots defense has allowed 258 yards per game total. The 49ers, care to venture a guess? 250.9.
Total
That's-
yards.
That's 8 yards less per game than that phenomenal Patriots defense, by the way. Leading the league.
And I believe we're leading the league, and we got to be leading the league in points per game, too.
That's a good question. I'm sure we are.
So, with about 10 minutes left in the game, Steady Freddy. I'm not even going to call him Steady Freddy anymore. You know what his new name is? For me? All-Pro Freddy.
King
All
Cock.
pro Freddy.
All-Pro Freddy.
Patriots are actually beating us points allowed.
Really? Well, they
12
they fucking dusted some teams early on, held them to like fucking 6, 3, 10.
12.1 to 15.2.
Okay. 10 minutes left in the game. Steady Freddy, All-Pro Freddy comes up with another big pass breakup. That was just, I don't think anything amounted to that. I think they ended up kicking the field goal or whatever. No. It was the final drive, 6:30 remaining. They get the ball back. We're missing timeouts because we needed to call a timeout to avoid a delay a game. Fucking brutal.
I've
That
been
was
saying
twice.
it since the beginning. I've been saying it since 4 coaches ago. The way we use timeouts is fucking disgusting.
I don't mind using timeouts where if you want to change the play,
Right up
you
until-
don't like the look.
Right up until it's right before the 2-minute warning, and the best offense in football is driving to score a fucking game-winning score, and you have no fucking timeouts to do anything with.
Oh, sure. But
When
would
you're
you
playing
say that the only good time to call a timeout is under 2 minutes?
No.
Like, you never call a timeout before
No,
2
but
minutes?
I think situationally, depending on who you're playing, that you need to make better decisions than that.
Well,
I
depending
think
on
that
who
calling a timeout because of the look that you're getting, then you shouldn't have went for it if you weren't prepared for whatever look they were going to put out there.
I don't know.
To say go for it on 4th and 1, then to line up and then to use the timeout, and then it's a waste. Have the play ahead of time. If the next play is 4th and 1, this is what we're doing.
I don't like a timeout on a 4th and 1 look. If it's a 3rd and 6 look, 3rd and 7 look, big third down, gotta have it, and there's 5 minutes left, I don't mind that.
All I know is that when you get to 20 seconds before the 2-minute warning and you have one timeout,
Yeah, it sucks.
something's wrong.
So we delayed the game once in this game, and then we had to use 2 timeouts to prevent and delay a game. That's a problem.
It's a real problem. Just so we're aware, the fewest passing yards allowed in a season, in a 16-game season, was the 1978 Buffalo Bills with 1,960 yards, which breaks down to 122.5 yards passing.
And
per
what are we
game.
at now?
We're at
134.
134.
Okay.
So, again, different leagues, though. We're,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Entirely
And
different
our
leagues.
next 3 games are Drew Brees, Matt Ryan.
Right.
Russell Wilson coming down the pike.
Yeah,
There's
there's
one
one more
more. Who's that
Rams.
again? Oh,
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Yeah. So
you see the time, too. Yep.
yeah, they're able to bleed the entire 6 minute and 30 seconds, and kick the game-winning field goal. And yeah, that's a wrap. Yeah, that's the game.
Blame game?
Blame game.
Wouldn't we do that after Beasts of the Week?
Oh, okay. Well,
That's why I wrote it in.
oh, sorry. Beast of the week, motherfuckers. I ain't singing for a loss.
Offensive is easy.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's not Raheem Mostert,
Oh,
who
you
is
said
it?
the
Not mine.
offensive line? I understand.
No, it's not them either. I totally understand giving it to Mostert. He deserves it.
Okay.
But my beast of the week is the guy who made the fucking biggest play of the game on offense, and it was Deebo Samuel on the first drive. Beasted Marcus Peters.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the beast play of the week, but I
Yeah.
can't give a guy with 41 yards it over a guy with 146.
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
totally get it. I totally get it. But
especially to rush for 146 in that weather.
that play right there, attacking the ball at the catch point, was beast.
Of course.
The reason I'm giving it to Mozart is because
That might have been the play of the year.
yeah, other guys had chances in this game to run the ball, and none of them did it as well as he did. So I'm giving it.
Debo's clearly got the 2 best catches of the year.
What
That one
was
on the
other
sideline?
Oh yeah, the
Where he hurt
circus
himself?
catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so defensive.
I mean,
Easy for me.
easy for me.
Fred Warner.
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
all pro Freddie?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What a fucking monster. And you know
sure.
what? When he meets a guy going full speed like Mark Ingram, he is just like Willis and Bowman. He doesn't move. He's a fucking wall. He doesn't go back a yard and then tackle. You just stop.
Stop that.
And the way he's able to play pass coverage against Hollywood Brown, are you fucking kidding me?
Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown was not an issue in this game, which is
No, he
incredible.
wasn't.
That's because of Fred Warner.
How do you?
Yeah.
How does Fred Warner keep up with Hollywood Brown?
Yeah.
Like that's
a beast.
It's not even fair.
He's a wild animal.
All pro Fred Warner.
All pro Freddie.
Tell him, Steve.
APF.
All right, I think it's around the way for Mr. Warner.
Blame game. This is a tough one for me.
It's an easy one for me.
Very easy for me. I'm blaming my wife. Yeah, fuck her.
Wow. Not the answer I was expecting. but
Aggressive.
okay.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
Care to elaborate, or that's it? Just stopping there.
No, that's it. Fuck her.
Okay.
She knows what she did.
When you delay the game twice, and you have to use timeouts on delay a game, and you're running the ball all fucking game long, and it's a 4th and 1, and you don't line the quarterback up under center, so that way the threat of the run is actually there. That's no bueno. Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, Steve. Wow. I like that. I like that Steve picks his guy.
I don't know where to go on this one.
You can blame
I thought
me.
Joe was going to say the refs. I really did.
I thought he was going to say Shanahan.
I thought he was going to say refs because of those. He was very adamant about the roughing the passers.
I'm still pissed about that.
Yeah,
but-
I thought that's where you were headed. That's all.
Sorry. You could take it.
It's hard to argue against the Kyle Shanahan just because the teams are so clearly even matched.
It's hard to argue against Joe's wife.
So I guess I have to.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I'm going to have to.
You want to give it to Jessica and to?
No, I mean, realistically, I want to give it to Jimmy for the red zone fumble.
Yeah.
Just because of the location on the field. But
That was
again,
in the first quarter.
and we had plenty of chances to overcome it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I want to. I'm not going to.
We have anything else this episode we do?
Outro.
Outro.
Okay, so folks, we see that we've gotten some new reviews, which we'll hopefully get into next week. If not, we'll hold that off for next week. We appreciate the Patreon love that we've been receiving. We have a new $500 a month donator. We'll get into that next week. So what you do is first you email us and tell us how you're doing. goldbloodedpodcast@gmail.com. Check out the Instagram ran by the one and only young boy Michael Curran. Gold-Blooded Podcast, one word.
Young boy.
Young boy.
Young hot boy.
Young man.
Young man, sorry. Yeah. Check us out on the Patreon. Steve, tell them what to do.
Patreon.com/Gold-Blooded Podcast. Subscribe as little as $1 a month, as much as $100 billion a month. We need new equipment.
And
Have you seen George Kittle's Hot Boys shirt?
Yes.
Oh, the defense
Incredible.
has them made. I think that
Yeah.
he did.
Kittle wears one too.
Yeah, I think
He just made his own to fit in.
Yeah, we need those Patreon donations because when the Niners make the Super Bowl, I want to go out west for that. So come on,
You're gonna go out west
I'm gonna go
just to watch with 49er fans.
because if they win, I want to go to the parade. So if
fair.
the 49ers make the Super Bowl, I'm gonna go to the Bay Area and watch the game there. Here's my decision: hoodies and weed over bikinis and blow. I'm a hoodies and weed guy. You know what I mean? So
That's fair.
I'm just Miami ain't my scene.
You'd also save a shit ton of money,
Right, on
especially if
top
you're
of
not
that,
going to the game.
I can't financially touch
Super Bowl tickets?
Super Bowl tickets, cocaine in Miami.
I said
the whole thing.
after 2012, I said
Right,
the next time they're in a Super Bowl, I will go on vacation to watch the Super Bowl
no doubt, yeah.
because it's a win-win.
You mean go on vacation to the Super
No,
Bowl?
no.
Oh, okay.
I will plan a vacation timed perfectly so that I get to watch the Super Bowl while on vacation.
You might have to do it this year.
As much as it hurt when it happened, walking out the door into warm,
Paradise.
beautiful weather, paradise, made it a lot easier to swallow.
No, and when you said that to
If
me,
I was home, I might have killed myself.
right, when you said that to me, it was something I strongly considered because I'm such a big fan
Yeah.
of the Virgin Islands and all that. But with that said, I thought about it, and my dream is to be at a parade. You know what I mean?
God,
Like,
that'd be so depressing.
See, I would
No.
veer the opposite. I don't want to be on vacation and ruin. I feel like that it would just ruin my vacation. I would just be pissed the whole time.
Yeah, it wasn't. I thought so too, but it wasn't.
different strokes. All right, with that said,
We out.
fuck it. Bye-bye.
Really.